Okay, we are here in Camden Town, and this is Vince, and I'm talking here with Dan. Hi, how are you? I'm having a little bit of drink.
Clink.
Meeting for the first time, so
yeah,
this is going to be a very eye-opening conversation.
Yeah, an interesting day it should be as well.
Yeah, you were at Raw last night.
I was, yes.
And you liked it so much you got a ticket for SmackDown tonight.
I did. I just got so wrapped up in the whole energy and atmosphere, hoping to meet some more people tonight.
Yeah, yeah. So was it more being around the people, or was it because the show was really good? Or
you know, it was a bit of both. The show, you know, I was actually kind of expecting the show maybe to be a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Because it feels like straight out of WrestleMania, we're kind of into a little lull again.
Yeah. No.
I mean, the Authority weren't even there last night. It was another sort of just show built around the Randy Orton, Seth Rollins feud. So I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. They certainly did a lot of fun stuff just to play to the British crowd.
You didn't feel it was overkill with the British stuff?
I'm not sure in the crowd it can be overkill. Yeah. Maybe if you're watching it on TV, it can be a bit overkill. Because you're not there.
I mean, it wasn't too bad, but it was sort of just on the line that one more and it's too much.
Well, I couldn't believe some of the things they were trying to use. I mean, they had Adam Rose out there. When was the last time he was on Raw? And I felt like that was just because there was British fans love to chant things.
Yeah, and
so
Fandango is there.
Exactly. The resurgence of Fandangoing.
And let's see him disappear next week.
Yeah, of course. Well, he'll be on Superstars next week. Doing the finger dance up and down.
I mean, the best thing would be like, no, the finger dance never happened. We're back to the Latin thing again.
Yeah. I wouldn't rule it out. That could definitely happen.
Well, now it's fun for a week anyway.
Yeah. I don't think there was a lot of really important stuff to carry on from last night's show. Yeah. I think it was more fun, less super important. If you missed the show, you didn't miss a lot.
Yeah.
I thought the most actually compelling storytelling part of the show was the Kane thing.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
Did you get to see the backstage stuff?
Yes, they showed that on the screens.
Is it hard to like follow when it's coming from speakers and not really live?
No, actually. The only thing that was a bit strange like that is they didn't necessarily make all the announcements. So we didn't know, or at least I didn't know. Maybe they made the announcement right at the start. I missed the entrances of the first Superstars match or something. But they didn't really tell us that the Seth Rollins match and the Randy Orton match were for stipulations. So stuff like that sort of just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Especially because we just couldn't hear the commentary.
Oh, yeah.
But we got all the backstage segments, and storytelling worked pretty well.
Okay.
So.
And did there happen anything? Did you have a chance to watch the show?
I watched the first 2 hours of it, but I didn't get a chance to see the end of it.
But you got the gist of
yeah, I got the gist of how it was all coming together. It seemed very similar to the experience of the show, to be honest. Although, I mean, there were a few fun things that happened at the show that didn't make the TV.
Well, you gotta have that stuff.
Yeah.
Throw it in there.
Well, it's funny because there was definitely a feeling in the crowd last night of complete apathy and to the point of almost hatred towards the Big Show. I think there are a lot of people who are sort of tired of the Big Show acts and the Kane act as well, although they did a nice job of slightly freshening him up.
I thought Kane showed that if this was his last turn, he could do one more.
Yeah,
I
was actually interested by that whole part.
And I think it's because he played it so well. Like maybe the story, not this again. But he was really good.
He was really good in that match. The facial expressions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when he was doing the you can see me doing the cutthroat. And it's just and I've been thinking of that for a long time with him because he used to have the whole face mask.
Yeah.
And he had to do the body stuff. And he's really good at like, yeah, he knows how to do the facial expressions, but he sort of knows how to not use his face to express stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
He's one of the best I've ever seen.
Like his movements and stuff.
Like you said, stalling.
Yeah.
Just keeping his thumb on his throat for a really long time.
Yeah.
And just like little shaking, not too much.
Showed that he was conflicted. Good stuff.
Yeah. So and compare him to Big Show. Yeah, like okay, Big Show is also a good actor, but sort of like I think they use that like he's crying and all that. He can do all that stuff, but nobody really wants that from a giant.
No. I tell you what, I think by the end of the night, Big Show kind of won some of the crowd back over, which was surprising. I think he kind of reminded people that there's always that sort of disconnect between like how much you might hate a character, but then when the person shows a bit of personality, you go, oh, I still like that guy. But it was funny because he was in the dark main event, and there was some somewhat crude chants being leveled at him, and he was being called fat. People were suggesting that he'd eaten all the pies. So he got on the microphone during the main event and just was saying things like, I am not fat. I am a giant. And then people were chanting for him to eat some salad. And he came back with a great line about as bad as the food is here, he has been eating salad. So he was doing a really good job actually connecting with the crowd, which was surprising considering how much people were ready to boo him and things.
I think there is something, and it goes back to that, well, we always talk about it, the scripting, and like when the guys are just let loose, and the crowd is into it, like almost all, and I think that's one big reason why Sandow and Miz work. At least according to their interviews, a lot of the stuff they do is just that seems to be working. On the fly, like you said, and that works. I mean, it's not rocket science; it's live theater. That's how it kind of works.
I think they did so well for such a long time, probably because it wasn't so important for them to be micromanaged. They could they were in a comedy sort of segment.
Just
they could go out there and have fun and actually try and connect with the crowd. And not have a certain agenda that they needed to get over.
Which brings me to the number one agenda in the WWE. And he is, of course, Roman Reigns.
Right.
And poor Roman. That's all I can say now. Poor Roman. I mean, he tries so hard. He looks so like frustrated that I'm trying, guys.
You can see it getting to it in his face a lot of the time. Although
it's like, remember when Randy used to get a lot of boring chants or whatever, and he would, and people would love to.
You could see it. You can see his blood boiling.
And Roman is there. When he comes down the aisle, and like. He like thinks everybody's out to get him.
Well, I mean, it's a hell of an entrance for a guy that the crowd hates, really.
I mean, could you imagine if that was Dean's entrance?
Dean
Ambrose would be so loved.
Swarmed with just adoring fans left and
tits,
right.
Of course.
Yeah, sure.
So many bras. I could imagine that would be his thing. Bras flying. But Roman, I mean, it's not his fault. But the crowd.
Although he doesn't help himself because the crowd can see that it's getting to him.
And, I mean, exactly like Randy.
That fuels the backlash.
It's like like in kindergarten or in school, like a bully will know that it's getting to you. And they'll just
John Cena knows how to handle it. He just sort of smirks. He has fun with it. And you kind of expect
sells 100 T-shirts doing it.
But you kind of expect these guys to take it magnanimously and not like come across kind of petulant about it. And that's something that Roman has got a bit of a problem with.
It's so weird because he's not a young guy. He's almost 30. to me, like that is when you get 30, it's like, okay, now it's time to man up and let's get down to business. When you're 25, you can still be a bit of a baby, even if you're a grown up. But yeah, he's gonna be 30 this year, I think. So, and he's the guy they want to push.
He is. I think they've gotten very lucky that Seth Rollins was just in a position where they could pull the trigger on him, because I don't think they were ever really positioning him to be the guy, and so I think they've gone lucky with him being there.
And I think Seth, he's not really lucky because he is that good.
Oh, sure.
But
100%.
I look at him and he's like the perfect in-betweener between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Like he's an indie guy, but he's tall and he's good looking.
He's the perfect Jericho. He's the perfect Edge.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that can be a real star in the company, but he's not going to be Roman Reigns.
But I mean, he's somewhere in between, like you said, Jericho and Shawn Michaels. Like, and we don't know yet what he's going to turn. I mean, he could be the guy, or he could be, number 4.
Although in this era, it's going to be tough for anyone to touch someone like Shawn Michaels, because back then they were better at making their stars and making them really superstars rather than just calling everyone a superstar.
Yeah, but I was thinking, like, let's say they go with Seth until the next year's WrestleMania.
It could happen.
And he's probably not going to meet Rock, but he could meet Brock.
Yeah, he could meet Brock. I think there's a few places that could be the end of Seth's title reign. I think SummerSlam would be the first one. Yeah. Then maybe the Royal Rumble. In the run-up to next year's WrestleMania. But he could hold it if they really want to go with it.
Yeah. And especially if they want to, even if they want to do Seth versus Roman. Which I'm still thinking, that could be good. That could be big money. And I'm so for new guys being, on top of the card. That's so important to me, because we need wrestling 15 years from now. Yeah,
the only problem with this year was that they just did such a bad job of positioning Roman Reigns in that place that people just weren't ready to accept that.
And that's the key, not ready, like those two words. He wasn't ready. We weren't ready. The company wasn't ready.
But it was just he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But now
the right place at the wrong time.
But he has. It's not like it's all over for him. Like that's something I really, with all the criticism I always give him, and I give him a lot of flack, a lot. But
so do I. I was booing him when he came out yesterday.
I'm probably going to be silent, sitting on my...
Having said that, he did really well, actually, getting the crowd, turning the crowd around. By the time his segment was done, before he got assaulted by Big Show and slammed on the top of the taxi, whether or not it's because they're pairing him with Big Show, who the crowd was also rabid to tear apart, people were really cheering Roman Reigns.
That's good.
And most of the crowd was booing him when he hit the ring.
Well, most people boo.
He turned it around.
And that's what Cena does.
And in the opening segment, people were booing the hell out of him. He mentions WrestleMania in London. Crowd cheers like that.
That's one of those things I was thinking when I said, did they go a little bit too far? And I was like, I mean, I get what you're doing here. I know what you're doing, but come on.
I mean, it's a little
cheap.
Say
Survivor Series.
Considering, I don't think it's going to happen for a number of years, if it ever does.
I mean, I can see a pay-per-view.
Totally.
And I'll be there.
There'll be a real... The difficulty is always going to be the time difference. And so I don't see it happening in the next 5.
TNA went to China. They were... What, Japan? Sorry.
TNA went to Japan for their Bound for Glory, but... I mean, did you see the show?
No.
Well, maybe that was the right move. I did see the show. It wasn't really Bound for Glory. It was a Japanese house show.
That'll be another story for another time.
Yeah, sure.
But they could definitely do some kind of, maybe not even a pay-per-view, but a network special. Like something.
Sure.
If they're going to be here 2 days, just do one more. I mean, It's not impossible. But WrestleMania, I mean,
Yeah.
nice try, John. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, but the crowd.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a pedigree for SummerSlam. SummerSlam's been held in London before.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Maybe.
Yeah. And yeah, so Cena knows how to do it, and I think because of this is the worst place for a wrestler for Roman. And because he's going through it, and he's still not hurt, like he's right on that.
Yeah.
So this is like the best school in a way for him. If he comes out on top, at the other end, like nobody's gonna be able to heckle him ever.
Yeah, it's funny because I almost have to agree with something that the WWE like to talk about a lot. This, like the Cena effect, where it doesn't matter if you love him or hate him, people have got an opinion, and there's always noise and energy.
Yeah.
And Roman has gotten that from the past few months.
Yeah.
And I don't think it is as great as WWE seem to think it is. They love that that's the case with John Cena. I don't think it's as brilliant for a guy like Roman, but it's certainly a step in the right direction, actually.
Yeah. And you can do that with like one guy or maybe two.
Yeah.
It can't be the standard, but yeah, I mean, if Cena goes more the USA route he's going right now, I mean, maybe Roman can sort of take his spot in that controversial guy where he is a heel or a babyface, depending who he's facing.
It's funny because he kind of comes across as a Randy Orton sort of character.
Yeah. I still think they would be an awesome
silent
tag team.
type.
I want to see them together at one point. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I guess that could work.
But yeah,
maybe like a rated RKO.
Yeah, 2.0.
Combining of two big singles figures.
They can be the Lone Rangers.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Have you seen the movie? I mean, well, that's another story.
What, the recent one?
No, the Lone Rangers. I mean, it's called. Is it Airheads? It's a movie about a rock band that has three guys and they call themselves the Lone Rangers, and it's like, how can you be alone? There's three of you.
There's three of you. Okay. I don't actually know that. Sorry.
Well, look it up. It's good.
Okay.
Anyway, it's not really my point.
Yeah, it's also not wrestling related.
Well, if 2 years from now, Randy Orton and Roman Reigns are the Lone Rangers, I'll dig this up.
Oh, that'll be very wrestling related then.
Yeah, I'll challenge Joe for being Nostradamus.
Yeah, sure.
I called it 2 years ago in a pub.
That would be a hell of a call, I gotta say.
Probably not gonna happen.
No, I would imagine not.
Okay. We've been blabbing on for 17 minutes, which is fine. We're gonna do more of that today.
Sure.
But
I'm sure we will.
Finally, I want to go WrestleMania crowd. You were not this year, last year.
Yes, I was at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans.
And you were last night. I don't know if you've been to other WWE shows.
I've been to a house show in the UK before, but this was my first televised show from the UK.
So
for WWE at least.
So from like let's forget the bells and whistles and the bombs and whatnot. From like a crowd experience point.
Yeah.
Is there? Because WrestleMania nowadays is a really smarky crowd.
Yes.
And
very much so.
And England has always been Bizarro World in WWE talk.
Yeah.
So is there a difference?
There's a lot of similarities. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Here's the thing: when I was in New Orleans, you'd see. Well, at the time, there were just a sea of wrestling T-shirts on the streets. You'd look around and you could count them, and you'd go past all the shirts you could count on your hands. But when you heard them speak, like maybe it felt like a third of the time they'd be British. There was such a British contingent at WrestleMania, at least that year, that I feel like they do have a big swaying effect on the WrestleMania crowd.
Yeah.
And you can hear it. I remember I was there for the Raw after Mania as well, after 30, and Bad News Barrett returned to in-ring action that night. And you heard like England chants and very like football-related chants.
Yes.
that will have come from the large English contingent or the British contingent.
Yeah, it's not like there's 5,000 Spaniards there. Like, that's not really the case.
So yeah, I think the crowd and the energy and a lot of the chanting is pretty similar. I maybe would have expected the crowd last night to have been a little, if we're going to use smarky as the word, a little smarkier. Because when Cesaro and Kid came out, I thought there'd be a great reaction for them. But I don't know whether it was just the moment in the show that the energy was low. But there wasn't much of there weren't many cheers for them. There was actually more of a response for Randy Orton, which surprised me. I'm sure there were a couple more examples of stuff like that, but I can't remember what they were now.
But it's really interesting to hear that, Britain is so well represented at WrestleMania.
And that can be a good thing. It also can be not such a great thing, because I mean, again, last night, not all of the chants I agreed with. Sometimes I think the British crowd, because of our culture of cynicism and chanting at things like football matches, we can get really rowdy and maybe sort of like, not step over a really offensive line, but step over a line where it goes from having fun to just being kind of a dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I'm struggling with the term that the crowd goes into business for themselves. I mean, they do, but, I mean, like a really good crowd is supposed to be really lively.
Yeah,
and
electric.
And they're supposed to shout whatever comes to their heads, but the promoter is supposed to sort of
corral them.
Yeah, like
in
you were
the right direction.
Like you were talking about the salad chants. You're supposed to, okay, they're chanting this, I'm gonna use it, you know. And I feel like sometimes wrestling companies forget that, like, it's like they get so angry that they're doing something. Like, no, it's your job.
They forget that they have the tricks to change what the crowd is going to chant.
Exactly. Like for me, like, as a musician, I mean, I know how to work a crowd. I mean,
I'm sure you do.
Using insider terms, but it's not super difficult. I mean, it's somebody. If you see somebody is making too much noise, you address them and you make it about you again and about whatever is going to happen next.
Well, I mean, the great example is the Watt chant. Whenever that happens to like a guy who really knows what they're doing, they kind of change the tempo of their promo and try not to leave the gaps in the right place. And they know what to do, and they know how to handle it.
My favorite on that is Mark Henry.
Mark Henry, exactly. He's the quintessential example. He knows what he's doing nowadays.
And also, not with the Watt chant, but with the You Can't Wrestle chant for EC3.
Oh, EC3.
I mean, he made an art out of it. I disagree. Like, it's so easy.
It's now a back and forth that people expect.
And now it's not somebody going into business for themselves. It's
now it's part of the act.
Exactly. And it's really, that's all you need to do. And sort of we're just going to pretend it's not there is the worst approach probably.
Yeah. But then again, when I hear the crowd around me chanting for please retire at the big show, I feel like it's a little mean. I mean, I don't get into that one.
Yeah, but
I would leave that.
But he's a jerk. I mean, as a character.
Not Paul White. I've heard some things that might suggest that Paul White isn't squeaky clean.
But I'm just thinking, like, once you walk into the arena, he's a jerk. I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, whenever he gets, like, You look stupid with Sheamus now.
Oh.
I think that's like the best thing.
That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And it's...
I'm sure he loves that chant at this stage. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, if they were chanting "You look cool," that would be like... man...
I would also have some questions about the makeup of that crowd if they thought Sheamus looked cool.
Yeah, and like...
He looks like Zoidberg.
He looks exactly...
Why not Sheamus?
And another one, The Miz.
Yeah.
I love The Miz. I mean,
The Miz is fantastic at being a heel.
Yeah, I mean, he's so annoying.
Yes.
Like, you just want to punch him
Yeah,
in the
you do.
face
You just
all
wanna
the
punch
time. and it's great. And sometimes you forget. Yeah, that's the idea of wrestling. Like, you want somebody to punch somebody in the face and shut him up. And that's really all.
That was what it was based on originally.
Yeah, and that's
some
all
things are a little different nowadays, but it's still a classic way of telling the story.
Exactly. Hey, we are gonna. Your glass empty. We're gonna have more drinks, but we're gonna wrap things up. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
And
no problem.
maybe we'll do
Good
this
to
again.
give you my insights.
Awesome.